ByteDance owns TikTok. If ByteDance is and the CCP owns ByteDance.
You agree that the Chinese government has persecuted the Uyghur population.
Does TikTok support genocide?
You receive personal employment, salary, compensation, or benefits.
And you expect us to believe that you are capable of maintaining the data security, privacy, and security of 150 million Americans?
These are only some of the questions asked by the US government to TikTok CEO Shou Zichu during the congressional hearing. Now you may be wondering, why would Congress focus on how much money TikTok or its CEO is making? After all, they are a private company and under no obligation to reveal their financial data out into the public. Why does the US Congress care about TikTok CEO's personal views on Chinese government-run Uyghur concentration camps? He's not even from China. He's Singaporean. It seems like a deliberate attack on the company to achieve either one of two goals: to ban TikTok entirely from ever operating on the US soil again, which many other nations already did, or force ByteDance into selling its stake of TikTok to an American company. But who would they sell their stake to? One tech company already has 3 of the top 5 most used social media apps, with 2 of them having similar features like TikTok. They have a lot of money, and with lots of money comes a lot of influence. Influence to persuade the right people who can make deals happen. Or else. It doesn't matter if they don't take the deal, because they're gonna lose either way. What company? None other than Meta by Mark Zuckerberg. This is the game of the social media empire, and when you play the game, either you get acquired or you die. Welcome to Darkly. We make documentaries just like this on money, power, war, and crime. Subscribe for more, and this is the shocking truth behind Meta's hidden war against TikTok. US Congress holds a hearing against TikTok CEO Shou Zichu in order to make him testify against allegations regarding the CCP accessing American user data, a national security threat of using TikTok and potentially harming American businesses. But you see, they didn't have any solid proof. They alleged TikTok of giving access to private user data to the CCP, citing something called the 2017 Chinese Act, the act that demands every Chinese company to share private user data when asked for, and if they refuse, well, game over for them. They literally have to. But this is all ifs and buts. On the surface, it might seem that the intentions of the US Congress were to protect American citizens and national security, but the truth is, they struggled to even ask basic questions properly. It was like a teenager bluffing about how smart he was to his friends, while in reality, knowing nothing. See, no matter how patriotic the US Congress is, the fact is that all the allegations that they presented against TikTok were mostly just speculation. They didn't manage to find a single piece of evidence that strongly suggests TikTok was doing something wrong that other social media apps aren't also doing right now. You've probably seen this viral clip where TikTok CEO was literally asked if the app uses Wi-Fi network, to which Chu responds by saying,
I'm sorry, I may not understand.
So if I have TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
You will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
The Congress probably meant to ask whether the app uses a Wi-Fi signal to access other devices that are also connected to the same Wi-Fi network, other than the one the user is currently using to connect to the app. But they struggled to even ask such a simple question effectively, and just embarrassed themselves in front of the whole world. This is just the tip of the iceberg. See, during the hearing, Chu managed to successfully dodge most of the questions that were just tricks, trying to force himself into a political trap. And when you held a 5-hour-long hearing without properly knowing what you're asking, it goes sideways real fast. If you remember back in 2021, Mark Zuckerberg was also forced to testify against Congress, and it was the same mess at the time. So what's different now? Welcome to the crazy world of lobbying. If you want to make anything happen quickly, you need to help your friends in higher places. And if you need your friends in higher places to do your bidding for you, you need to empty your pockets. But you wouldn't bribe a member of Congress now, would you? No, that would be illegal. But thanks to the American law, what you can do is to legally bribe them. Oh, I mean lobby them. Since the early 1900s, many industries including dairy, sugar, alcohol, and cigarettes have been lobbying the government in order to get their desired laws and bills passed. And what's even more addicting than sugar and cocaine? That's right, social media. So after the brutal hearing of Mark Zuckerberg, one thing was clear to Meta. The government is your worst enemy and your best friend, depending on how you handle them. So it was now time to up their lobbying game, and they started spending millions. Even though TikTok had started lobbying too, the money involved was nowhere close to what Meta spent. For instance, TikTok had hired a public affairs and political consulting firm with high-level connections to the Biden administration, and ByteDance and its subsidiaries have paid about 40 lobbyists, a total of about $5.4 million just last year. And since 2019, they've spent close to $13.5 million, but for comparison, that's how much Meta spends in just every 6 months. From 2009 to 2022 alone, Meta had spent over $140 million on lobbying, which keeps on increasing every year. And these are just the public figures, not to mention other off-the-record transactions done to make new friends. So it's clear, Meta wants TikTok completely out of its sight here in the US, but even after lobbying congressmen, you still need to make a compelling argument. You need to make them believe that what they are going to do would positively impact the great nation of America, its people, and especially its businesses. So they started searching for arguments, and they found it. The whole congressional hearing of the TikTok CEO was based on only one thing: the CCP. This is Daniel Reed Crenshaw, an American politician, former United States Navy SEAL officer, and currently serving as the United States representative for Texas' 2nd Congressional District since 2019 and a member of the Republican Party. Listen to what he has to say about TikTok and how China is weaponizing it to destroy the American youth.
The long-term goal of the Chinese Communist Party is the demise of the American power, and that starts with our youth.
The same American youth who spends roughly 200 minutes daily on average on TikTok. The entire premise of the March 2023 hearing of Chu was only based on one thing, and I quote, "The long-term goal of the Chinese Communist Party is the demise of the American power, and it starts with our youth." Oh, the hypocrisy of American lawmakers. They raised concerns about the possibility of China using the app to spy on Americans, conveniently forgetting to mention how the US government uses US tech companies to spy on everyone else. The US Congress is considering banning TikTok, while renewing Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Service Act, FISA, which allows US intelligence agencies to carry out warrantless spying on foreigners' online communications. The US enjoys an advantage over other countries thanks to its jurisdiction over the companies that run the modern internet, such as Google and Meta. The lack of privacy for billions of internet users outside the US mirrors the alleged threat that TikTok poses to Americans. It is a classic case of rules for thee, but not for me. The US government is making noise about TikTok's surveillance and the influence operations to consolidate national control over social media. The privacy rights of non-Americans have received little to no mention at all. The US is making a big stink about TikTok and the Chinese data collection when it's collecting data itself. It's okay for the US to spy on everyone else, but it doesn't want China to do the same. How ironic. So it looks like TikTok might be banned in the US. Who could have seen that coming? But don't worry, folks, because according to research and brokerage firm Bernstein, Meta, YouTube, and Snap are likely to benefit the most from this, because obviously, when people are forced to abandon one app, they just flock to the next one they see, like sheep being led to the slaughterhouse. And hey, if TikTok's out of the picture, that means more ad dollars from Meta and YouTube, who have the best ad products and the highest overlap of branded campaign objectives. Sorry, TikTok, but it looks like your projected revenue of $7 to $8 billion in the US just went down the drain. TikTok is now desperate and ready to do anything to stay in business. Oracle lobbyists have taken up TikTok's cause and are talking to lawmakers in hopes of building Capitol Hill support for their proposed partnership. Who needs ethics when you've got a lobbying roster of 90 people? Like I mentioned earlier, ByteDance has spent a staggering $13.5 million on lobbying since 2019, making it the 4th highest federal lobbying expenses of any internet company. Impressive, huh? And what's it all for? To try and prevent prevent the US government from cracking down on the Chinese-owned social media company or banning it altogether. Apparently, Democrats and Republicans alike are worried about the Chinese government's access to customer data and the app's potential to influence public opinion on political and geopolitical matters. It seems as though TikTok is losing until this happened. To counter this, TikTok has proposed Project Texas. This involves hiring Oracle to store American users' data on its own domestic cloud computing infrastructure, protecting against potential Chinese government influence over what video users watch on the app. Oracle would also act as a security monitor. They have dozens of well-connected lobbyists in Washington and a record of success in bruising influence flights. But some lawmakers want to empower President Biden to ban the app, or Congress to shut it down by the statute. Congress has already widened a ban on the downloading of TikTok on government-issued smartphones and other devices. This year, lawmakers have proposed several new TikTok security bills, and in the meantime, TikTok has hired SKDK, a public affairs and political consulting firm with high-level connections to the Biden administration. But some lawmakers like Senator Rand Paul think it's all overblown. Who cares if China could be doing some shady stuff with user data, right? Let's just give Oracle the keys to the kingdom and hope for the best. What you might not know is that the US government's focus on TikTok in the US-China tech war could have serious implications for foreign-owned and American tech companies. The Biden administration and Committee of Foreign Investment in the US are demanding that TikTok's Chinese owners sell stakes in its app as a condition for operating in the US. However, proposed bills to ban TikTok have been written broadly in a manner that could end up shutting out other foreign-owned tech companies, such as fast fashion e-commerce apps like Shein and Temu, and potentially even US companies with business functions in China, such as Apple and Tesla. Nowadays, wars aren't fought with bombs. Imagine the response China could make if America bans TikTok. The CCP may get angry and shut down American companies in China, and that can spiral out of control. But hey, let's just pass some vague and overly broad bills that might end up shutting down a wide range of companies. Because why not? Who cares about the details, as long as we get to sound tough on China and protect our national security? Of course, China might not take too kindly to these actions and retaliate against US companies in tech or other sectors. But hey, that's a risk we're willing to take, right? As long as we get to play the victim and blame China for all our problems, it's worth it. But wait, what if we actually focus on enacting stricter data privacy laws that would protect all users, not just for foreign-owned apps? Nah, that's too boring and sensible. Let's just keep demonizing China and ignoring our own shortcomings when it comes to protecting user data. One of the American companies other than Apple that could be an easy target of the CCP is Tesla. First, they had an affair with Elon Musk. Elon thought they were in love, but as soon as the CCP got what they wanted, which in this case was American tech, they broke up with him. Suddenly, the love turned into a hateful relationship. And if the CCP gets even angrier, they might completely shut down Tesla from ever doing business with China, and this could be really bad for Tesla, as majority of its battery supply comes directly from China, and the rest that doesn't come from China uses the Chinese technology to produce necessary parts one way or the other. So America could be in big trouble. So where do everyday people like me and you stand? Personally, I don't like the app too much, but I guess it's a necessary evil when you're in a social media business. Literally any app you use does more or less the same amount of data theft, or to put it in better words, data collection. And TikTok is great to get the initial boost if you are planning to become successful in social media, but at the same time, I don't believe in spending more than 3 hours every day randomly scrolling mindlessly. Let me know what you think about this congressional hearing. If you've watched it till the end, it clearly means you like video essays and documentaries just like this on money, power, war, and crime. So subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.